Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. We're back with 90's Rewind cars. This is going to be the Rewind review of the episode 2 cars, starting with the Lancia. Now, the Lancia is not a bad car, but unfortunately for many of us, we didn't have full fusions and it was very hard to get fusions for it. But once you get to a certain point with this car, you are able to build it for live racing. It is unfortunately not the best of the cars out there. It's just so-so, but it's something that at least can do okay. The problem with the Lancia, and in fact everything in episode 2, is that they are what you would call S6 dependent cars, meaning you really need a particular stage 6 at minimum to make the car shine. Now I have it set up with just body S6. You can also add in trans S6 and or tire S6 to make it work, but the overall issue with these cars is that they need stage 6s, but when you add enough stage 6s, the performance points are not always that great. So if the evo is not super high, you don't have the ratio, therefore the car does not generate the best numbers against other opponents. So that could mean that you would have to run very hard to win, and if you do that enough, eventually you're going to bump your car to the point where you cannot win. Now, like any car, when you first set it up, you bring it into lobby, you may have to take a few losses before you can start winning, but you want to win slow. You don't want to win, oops, what did I just do? I just totally screwed up that launch. But anyway, that shouldn't affect too much. I am still able to get ahead here, whoops. That's the other issue with the Lancia, is that it slows down a lot really fast when you try to slow down. So sometimes it's a little hard to get the right numbers. Now that guy's running pretty fast in the overall lobby. Now my Lancia, I believe, is set up at 10.7 dyno. So 11.1's okay. That's kind of where I want to be. I could re-challenge him, but I'm not going to do that yet. The slowing down part is a little annoying with the Lancia. It's a little harder to control than some cars. You definitely need to get into 5th gear to run even a half decent time. So it takes a while to really get the hang of this car. Now, I tend to alternate between running fast and slow opponents. Oh, I see red. I see red Wi-Fi. That means I can't connect. Let me jump back out of lobby and come back in. First, we need that red Wi-Fi to go away. So just moving around within the game sometimes will reset that issue and get you back to winning. But since we can't look at actually racing anybody right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the setup. So you have nitrous 2.16, 0-100. My dyno is 10.761. So obviously I could have ran better than that 11.1, but I was trying to kind of stay. Notice my red Wi-Fi went away. I am now ready to go back into live and hopefully do some actual damage. Same grouping of cars, nothing's changed. It's pretty much stabilized here in something along the lines of 10.9 is what the lobby is likely to be. So you don't have a lot of lobby advantage. This guy has the LP Ultimate, thinking that he's going to probably challenge me for a little money. I'm not going to fall for that. Wow, man, I screwed up the launch again. So apparently with this car, it's interesting. You got to launch around 6K, get into the 3rd gear. I'm not 3rd gear. Get to 2nd gear at 3,000. You shift into 3rd and nitrous, and that'll allow you to get your best runs. Here he comes for round 2. Probably wasn't happy with the performance of that first round, so he's going to take me on again. So I'm going to launch later this time. I'm going to try to launch around 6K, instant 2nd, go to 3K, and then nitrous for 3rd. Still a little off. That's the other thing about the car. The actual way you drive it is a little awkward. So while I can drive it okay, it's just not as smooth and easy as some of the other cars out there. Nonetheless, pretty stable car to drive once you get the hang of it. With the 10.7 dyno, it can run as fast as 10.5, meaning it'll do okay in here no matter what. But again, you don't want to bump out of your lobby too quickly. The thing about this car is the performance point's kind of high, even though the Evo's decent. So for a 10.7 dyno, it's about right. But lobby advantage is not as great as you may otherwise expect. So here we go. Now this one, obviously, I shouldn't even really need to be in 5th much. I can probably put it back to 4th and stay ahead of the bot. Or maybe not. You don't want to beat the bot by a lot, but you want to be at least ahead of him at the end. So 12.0, that means it's 11.0. 12.0 is 11.0, 10.7 11.0, so I have about a 0.2 something lobby advantage. That's not great. And that's again why the Lancia is, to me, just okay. Alright, now let's go to the next car, which is the Lamborghini Diablo SV. So let's go Lamborghini Diablo. There we go. We're gonna pick up this car. Now this one is definitely better. Well, it's somewhat better than Lancia in some aspects, but in the current settings, its Evo's not as good, but it is 5 points lower on the performance point, 200 points almost lower on the Evo. That gives you kind of a wash in the end. It's definitely not going to do well against cars like this, although the Lambo does beat dyno as well. So it's on a 11.26 dyno. I can run 11.07, so I can run a little bit, almost, you know, almost 0.2 under. But I would be really pushing this car by doing that. And it's just not something I want to do. For some reason, this guy's running really slow, so I'm going to slow down and get a slow run in. The slow runs basically keep you from moving around lobbies. He must be missing a lot of fusions for that car to not run that fast in this lobby. I mean, that's a killer car if you have the fusions, but without fusions, unfortunately for a newer player, he might be short on fusions. It just isn't going to be that good. These guys here, I mean, some of these may give me a little run for my money. This guy definitely can give me a run for my money, but most of these guys would not be running anywhere near 11.2s. I would say this guy probably 11.4, 11.3. Okay, he's challenging me again. Let's see if he maybe he launched poorly last time. Let's see what he runs this time. So in the 11.2 lobby, you can run up to opponents that are running, say, 11.6, 11.7. But most opponents should run 11.4, 11.5, 11.3s with the good. Wow, he is really back there. What is going on? I mean, I'm not complaining. He's giving me some super slow runs that'll only make it easier for me to run other people faster without moving anywhere. But 13.4, geez. Okay. Having some serious issues there. Here's my other two accounts actually sitting in the same lobby. They also dyno 11.2. Now, all right, so this one, as people have said, is a decent live racer, but it is electric. And electric cars, despite the low performance point, high Evo, even if he has a good tune, the issue is he has to get the launch just right to get the good runs in. And I can tell you that car is not that easy to get perfect launch on. And if you're off on the launch, you're going to be off by about 2/10 on your performance. Not to say that he's not coming up hard on me here. That's a 11.3 to 11.4 run. So obviously he's pretty quick for this lobby. Now I was able to beat him because, you know, because the Diablo's set up pretty good. But that's not to say that that was an easy run. Now this guy here, probably, I would say in here 11.5 to 11.4 if he runs well. I should be able to beat him, but I may have to push my car into the 11.4s. If I have to shift into third for longer than a second or two, then obviously I'm pushing near 11.3s at that point. Okay, so I want the RPM drop launch, which is a late launch with this car. And if I'm not pulling away by third gear and he's catching up pretty quick, then I'm in trouble. That one's more like a 11.5 run. He's not that close to me. 11.485, almost 11.5. He did 11.596. around where I was anticipating. So I know basically what my car should run in here. I also know by how I'm shifting what my car should be running generally. Not to say I don't get surprised, and sometimes I screw up things, but you know, there are ways to kind of gauge yourself in particular lobbies. Now, each time you run a 11-4, 11-3, the next set of opponents that appear in lobby will be matched closely to what you just ran, and eventually they'll get faster and faster, and that's not a good thing. So sometimes it's worth it to run really slow or take a loss or whatever, just to not get like a super fast opponent for the next run. Okay, all right. I judged that all right. I was a little worried about him coming up at the end and kind of blowing my doors off there, but I did okay there. I saw a Race Pass reward card, the Solus GT in here. This guy, if he's tuned properly, should be able to be in here running 11.0 to 10.9s. And you know that there's a big range. I mean, there are down tuned cars that could probably do like 10.6s in here, and then you have down tuned cars that could do like 7.9 in here. But generally speaking, in this lobby, a good number to run would be around anything from 11.2 to 11.3, and if you can do better than that, even better. But most people are going to run somewhere between 11.3 to 11.6 on average. 11.8s are on the slow side, but that's the lobby. And the lobby itself is pretty stabilized after a while, and you should be okay here without too much of an issue. All right, let me jump out. Let's go grab the next car in the episode 2. Now we're looking at the Ferraris. Now, the one good thing about this event, the 90s Rewind, is they gave us some really good Ferraris. Oh wait, before I leave, I should show you the parts and tune for this Diablo. Hold on. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Diablo. Let's show you the parts and setup. Part setup is very important for any build, right? You want the minimum amount of parts to get to a particular dyno lobby, but if you can add a few more parts, okay, so stage 3, 2, 3, 3, 6. Again, this stage 6 is kind of important. Watch what happens when I move it off. You get 1 point down, but look at here. Okay, so you don't want that. You want this. You want every point you can on that end, and that's important. And that's like over 100 points. Now, it could be worse for other cars where it could jump up 300 points, and that's a huge performance deficit if you lose to stage 6. Again, stage 6 dependent car, but it's set up right now for a specific dyno. Now, I can make it faster here by a little bit by doing this, but I don't really need it, so I'm kind of trying to get to like a dyno that puts you in a lobby. I could probably get away with something like this and stay in the same lobby, but it's much safer to be around the 2.6 here, 2.61, 2.69, because you're not likely to get moved into the 11.0 to 11.3 guys, where people are going to run at least 11.3, 11.4 on average, and then faster on top. That makes your car much less competitive. So that is the SV. The SV can be tuned again to beat dyno a little more, but then we're getting into some advanced tuning, and I think for most of you guys, if you copy my setup and tune and race it, you're probably going to end up bumping yourself anyway. So if I give you a more aggressive tune, you're just really going to bump yourself. So I would rather you stick with something that works and not push it too hard. However, do play with parts and figure out things. Now, the 512 TR is even more a stage 6 dependent car. In fact, it is so dependent. Watch what happens when I move this off of stage 6. Watch that performance point. Bang. Look at that gain. So you're actually gaining and losing. It's like the reverse. As soon as you take that stage 6 off, wow, this car goes to crap. Okay, and it cuts down the numbers on all these. This one too. It still affects it, but I have it set up with 2 stage 6s. 1, 2, 6, 3, 6 is my current setting. Again, it's tuned to a lobby based on the parts, and based on the numbers, we're in the same lobby that I was in the Diablo earlier. Now, interestingly, the Diablo can probably run as fast, if not a little faster, than the 512 the way it's set up. The way the 512 works is, yes, you can get a Evo drop tune where it can beat Dyno more, but its lobby advantage is so much better than the Diablo. It's already in a lobby where people run slower. So I'm not even worried about the fact that I am not, you know, getting as good a, quote, starting dyno or beating dyno ability as, say, well, slow down. Okay. I might have lost that, but it's okay. I was running a little too fast because I was talking, but so anyway, yeah, I lost by a little bit. So 12-0 opponent is what I'm actually running against. Now, he's a newer player, so he may not actually be set up that well. So that is not necessarily the lobby. I would think most guys in here should be running 11-8s, not 12-0s. But, you know, the 720 GT3X is also a dyno beater. I don't know how you got a white one. I think it's supposed to be black. But anyway, let's go ahead and do what we got to do. So I can go into fourth generally and then go back to third. Carry third down to second. Whoa. Ah, lost again. I keep doing that. So the problem with this car is much like the Lancia. If you drop too much down, you're gonna slow down too much, okay? And you can't get it back up because you don't have nitrous. So once you slow down, you're kind of screwed. I wish you the worst. Well, thanks, buddy. I wish you the best though, because I don't care about being negative. I like positivity, not negativity. All right. So this time I'm not gonna slow down too much because I know that car already runs really well in any lobby. So I'm just gonna push my car all the way down, slow down slightly, and let him kind of catch me up a little, but not catch me. That should be around a 11.5. Oh, okay, 11.4, 11.5. I was thinking 11.4s, but it was actually a little bit slower than I thought. Okay, so again, these Taycan GTs, we suck package, WISIC package, or WISUck package as I call them, they're not bad. The Dodge Viper GTS SR2, you know, I've shown you guys already what that car can do. If he is tuned properly, that could run as fast as a 10.9 in here. Not that I would want to test that theory against them. I'm just gonna run my 11.6. Now, lobby advantage is the thing about this TR. Because of the super low performance point, I'm actually supposed to be in the lobby you saw earlier where the Diablo landed, but because of the lower performance point, higher Evo, I'm in a lobby where everybody's just probably a notch slower than the one that the Diablo was in. Because the Diablo only has 1700 Evo, this has 2000. That makes all the difference. Plus, it's 20 points lower on the performance point. This is why tier 4 cars do so well in these lobbies, because they're doing the same times as T5 cars with a lot less performance points. That's a big advantage, and that's part of the reason why some tier 4 cars are really good in here. All right. So for example, I can probably get like a 500 or 600 flat performance point tier 4 car that's really good in here. He ran 12.7, so it's 11.7 lobby. It's not that slow. I just happen to be on the slower end of 11.7 with slower opponents. Okay, so that's the TR. You saw the parts. I'm going to give you the tune. We'll look at the parts and tune again. This is a pretty straightforward build. 1, 2, 6, 3, 6, and you can do 1, 2, 6, 6, 6. You can do, 1, 2, 5, 3, 6. It'll change the dynamic of the tunes, and it'll put you in a different lobby. But basically, 11.2 just by doing this. Now again, I can make this car a lot faster if I choose to, but it's going to put me in a lobby that's not a lot faster. I guess a tenth faster. It's going to put me in a lobby that's actually a little bit less competitive than where I like to be, which is here. So I leave it at this point for that reason. Okay. All right. So that's basically tuning to the lobby. Even though my car could tune to other lobbies, I choose not to. Now, the top car coming out of this is obviously one of the hardest cars in episode 2 to get, and that is the F50 GT. The F50 GT is really good. Sure, it doesn't have the crazy drops that the 512 has, but it's standard by standard upgrades, and I like, again, it's stage 6 dependent. These cars are very much stage 6 dependent. You lose a lot. You lose points here, but the problem is you also lose a lot of points here without stage 6 trans. This one actually isn't as dependent on trans as you may think. Those numbers really didn't do that much when I took it off. See, you don't talk about 80 points here. You can make that up easily without bumping those up too much by just doing something like this. But notice how that still jumps a lot, okay, with one stage, and then it doesn't really help here that much. That is part of the reason I left the stage 6 in there. So anyway, this one's a 266 build without any other parts. You can put other parts in. It depends, you know, more parts, faster lobby, but it works the same way no matter what with this car. It's going to dyno already at this point 10.2. Now, even though this is higher, if you're in 10.2 dyno, you're okay. You know, you're not going to be too high on performance point for the dyno range you're in, so you're okay. So this is still going to be competitive, still got lobby advantage, probably in 10.5, 10.6 range. Maybe some 10.4 cars, some 10.3 cars are unlikely unless they're something like that, or that could. But oh, we got bots, but we don't have bots. They came and left really fast, so I don't get a chance to show you with the bot. Let me jump out and back in. Maybe I can get the bots again just to run them to see exactly what I think the lobby may be, or in this case, not. All right. Oh, here comes some guys. I'm gonna race this guy. These guys are usually tuned. They're tier 4. This car tuned properly is very good in any live lobby in this range. Although in the 10s, I think it's less competitive than it would be if it was in, say, 11s. Okay, so I'm able to pull ahead, but notice he's still coming up pretty hard. I didn't have to go into 4th, and I was able to just run it straight through. That should be like a 10.5 run. Oh, wait, not even 10.2. Wow. So I almost ran dyno on 3 gears, and this guy only did 10.3. So I had no real advantage to him. And he challenged me again, which means either he wants to swap or he thinks his car can do even better than that. Now that is not a good thing for me. I don't want to end up running too fast. So I'm actually going to let him have this race because I think I'm in a grouping that I'm not too happy with already. It's too fast. Okay, I don't want to run dyno. I want to be able to run at least 2/10 slower than my dyno and still win. That's my goal with all settings, all my cars. Okay, and sometimes, like I said, you got to take a little bit of a loss to get a nice win long term. Let me try this guy. These Nissans, I've seen them, some of them do well, like with dyno beating, although I haven't really gotten that to do that much. Oh wow, okay, I guess he's pretty confident. Maybe he's got a dyno beating tune, we'll see. I never liked that car enough to want to mess with it too much. So off we go. Again, I know by 3rd gear right here I would be doing a 10.2, so I'm going to slow down a little. And that should be a 10.4 run, 10.38, 10.42 maybe. 10.59, so wow, that slowed down a lot. Okay, so okay, I'll take that. 10.59 puts me at 10.6. He ran a 10.7. I'm happy with that. That means that other T4, this guy's car is really, really solid in here. I mean, that's really good numbers, running 10.3s. So, okay, come on, let's get somebody in here that's not somebody different. New and different, please. All right. Supras. These guys, oh, okay, he refused me. These guys with 3 stars, I feel bad about even bringing my Supra in when it doesn't have 5 stars at least, because I know it tend not to get advantage. All right, this is going to be a fight. If I want to win this, and this guy has fusions, well, he's rank 161. Maybe he doesn't have fusions. If he has fusions, I might lose this, even if I push my car. If he doesn't have fusions, then he'll just be the average car out there, and I'll have a chance. Now, he's pushing me. I'm going to push him. Let's see what he did. That should be like a 10-1 that he just ran. Oh, 10-3. Wow. Okay, well, I slowed down a little and didn't want to push my car too much, but 10-3, I guess it's okay. It's not as impressive in here as I thought it would be. That's basically the same. Oh, the other guy's gone. All right. So let's run it again. All right, I'll take a chance at bumping my cars. It's fine. Let's go ahead and push this car through. 2, 3, 4, 3. I couldn't slow down too much there, but let's see what I ran. 10.246. That's almost slightly under my dyno. That's not good for me to do that too much. But I didn't want to take 2 losses in a row. Ooh, this is most likely going to be a slower opponent because rank 53, 3-star, lacking fusion. But it depends on how the matchmaking put him in here. Woo! I messed up my launch. But I'm winning. Woohoo! And I'm winning by a lot. Woo! Oh no, I slowed down too much. That's okay. Make him feel good. Oh, I just beat that YouTuber by like 300s, 200s and change. Woohoo! All right. Moving right along here. Let's see. This guy's gonna be quick because figure he's got purple start, properly tuned, beats dyno by 0.2 at least. I'm not gonna race him. All right. So, just how good is this F50 GT? Well, it's really good because ultimately, I don't like to push my car in live just because I know what it can do, and what I could end up doing is hurting my own lobby matchmaking over time until once the car's stabilized long term, then it's okay. But in the beginning, when you're still learning the car in a sense, you don't want to go too crazy because what'll happen is you push the car too much, and next thing you know, you can't win with it anymore. So if I push the car through 4th gear, even though I didn't get the 0 RPM launch, which I actually kind of need, that's a 10-0 run. If I push it with a 0 RPM launch, it should be in the 9s. I mean, so that's a 10-2 car doing 9s in the 10-6 lobby. That means it is a very good live racer. Is it gonna kill everybody? Sure, it's not. I mean, you can always get like a some kind of lobby beating dyno buster car to beat it, but going up again in 10.6 against a 9.8, I'm gonna win most races. Okay, so that's why the Ford F50 GT is so good. So, all right, so that's it. If if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But pretty straightforward setup for this car. Left, right, right. I mean, right, left. What? Right, left, left. Duh. Right, left, left. And that's it. So simple, straightforward setup. But again, stage 6 dependent. That is the story of episode 2. Great cars, stage 6 dependent, and the best Ferraris in the game so far ever. So I'm very happy I finally got some Ferraris that I don't hate. All right, if you have any comments, feel free to ask them in the chat, in the comments. If you want to add anything, feel free to do so. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like this type of videos, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notified when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.